One favorite meal for Kenyans is rice. But sadly, I find that so many babies, especially babies before 1 year, are never offered rice as a meal. Rice is so sweet, it's nice, it's commonly used. One of the main tenets of feeding your baby is that your baby should be fed from the same family meals that you're also eating. So if you eat it, then introduce it after 6 months so that your baby can start getting used to those flavors. So that by the time now they are getting to a place where they're feeding themselves, they can comfortably eat from the family meal. We're going to prepare a rice meal for your little one. I have prepared some rice. This is rice that I'd made for the rest of my family and I'm gonna make for the baby. I have here some dal, I call them dal, muk dal. There are many names, but they are commonly found in the Indian community. And they are nutritious. It's a legume. It is rich in iron. Remember, after 6 months, your baby needs to start eating foods rich in iron. It is flavorful. It is easy to mash. And guess what? It also tends to have the skin removed, so it's very easy for babies. Digestion doesn't cause a lot of gas. So this is a perfect meal to start from 6 months for your little one. We obviously have to remember we need a balanced diet. So we're going to have some vegetables here. We've got some red pepper, we've got yellow pepper, we've got some tomato. We also have an onion. Remember, your baby's food needs to taste the same like your food. So we've got some onion. So that will make a balanced meal for our little one. So yeah, so very easy. So I'm just modifying the same meal that I would be eating. And right there, my trusty grater. Gosh, this grater, I like it very much. It helps make it easy for the baby's meals. So I'm going to grate the onion right there. So nicely grate to a small pieces that the baby can be able to eat. Remember, don't put too much because onion is strong tasting. So we're just going to put just a little to flavor the baby's food. Right there. So make sure the onion is nice consistency. And so I'm going to put it in our pan right there. Just so that it's nice and I can rinse my knife a little. So I'm going to come and take my peppers and the same thing, I'm going to grate the peppers just so that it's a nice smooth, so that you don't have, if you don't have a blender, you don't have to puree the baby's food. If you prepare it like this, your baby can comfortably eat some of the vegetables that generally we tend to think that our babies can't eat. And so I'll just, yeah, and I'll do my red pepper. Remember, baby's food is not so much, so you don't need to really do a lot of it. Just some vegetable. So I'll do my red pepper right there. So really nice. You can see the consistency, it's nice and soft. Peppers are rich in vitamin C. They are also a rich source of vitamin A. They are tasty and flavorful, especially the colored peppers. They tend to be very sweet, so they add that sweet flavor into the food. I'm still gonna do an onion, a tomato. This is a tomato, and I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to mash it like that, rather to grate it. There we go. Fantastic. So I think now we are ready to cook baby's meal, and I'll just divide them right there in my chopping board. That's amazing. Yeah, now we're ready to cook. So I've placed the onion in the pan. Our onion is in the pan, And I'm using sunflower oil in this case, just to be able to remember vitamins need oil, especially what you call the oil soluble vitamins, which actually form the bulk of the vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K. So they need to be taken with oil for your baby to be able to digest them. So ensure that you cook your baby's food with a bit of oil. I'll just take my little wicker and just to allow the onion to cook properly, just to brown and get in there. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of oil, just so that my oil is a sprayer, so that can help you be able to measure or do oil in moderation if you have a sprayer. There we go. It's nice. So we just allow, remember, if you usually cook with garlic, if you cook with ginger, if you cook with turmeric, go ahead. Let your baby's food taste the same as yours. Those are spices. Spices are a powerhouse of antioxidants and micronutrients that are still important for your baby. And at the same time, they flavor your baby's food. So you can go ahead. So I'm not going to add any salt because baby is eating. I'd added a little in the rice, so that should be sufficient. So I'm going to come and just add my tomato in there. Yay, starting to smell really good and nice. So I'm kind of making a sauce that I'll now mix with baby's rice so that they can eat together. If you've got some water or some stock, we discourage you to add milk to baby's food. Remember, milk, when put together with foods that are rich in iron, it makes your baby not absorb iron very well. So please don't add milk to baby's food. Use soups, stock, or just good old water. It will do the job. We want to maximize absorption for our baby's food. And so that has mixed up very well. So I'm going to add a bit of the dal that I had pre-cooked or pre-boiled. And for baby's food, baby needs to get at least 20% of their protein from their diet every day. Proteins have to be eaten every day. Proteins, especially the plant sources like legumes, have a lot of iron. And for your baby to get most of this iron, it's good to give them with food something that's rich in vitamin C. And that's why we are adding a bit of the tomato. We're going to add the peppers, and we're going to cook them very lightly so that we maintain the vitamin C that's in the peppers, so that now as the baby eats, they're able to absorb the iron better. Vitamin C does help your body absorb iron well. So I'm going to just cook that, allow it to simmer a bit. Yeah, I'll add a bit of my water. And I'll just cover that up to just let it simmer and cook a bit before we add the peppers. So you can do peppers, you can do tomato. A raw tomato is very rich in vitamin C. So you can even grate it and just add to baby's food. Iron is very important after 6 months. Your baby stores iron for themselves when you're pregnant. That's why it's important to eat iron-rich food during pregnancy. But after your baby is born, there's not so much iron in breast milk. And so by the time your baby is reaching around 4 to 5 months, the iron stores that they had made during pregnancy are really getting low. So it's important for you to give your baby foods that are rich in iron after 6 months. Most proteins are very good sources of iron, and that's why we're thinking about the legumes, we're thinking about the meats, we're thinking about chicken, fish, beef, And all the other things, if you're vegetarian, we're thinking about a wide variety of the legume family and the green leafy vegetables. So that's why we are trying to get a bit of the iron from baby. But also, remember, proteins are the building blocks. They're the bodybuilding nutrient. So you have to make sure that you give your baby proteins every day so that they can grow. Oh, and that smells good. It feels like, I think it is ready. So now I will add our peppers, just so that they can cook just a little. Just a little. Smells really good. And as you can see, even at this form, it's something that you yourself can eat. So as you prepare food for the rest of the family, all you'll need to do is take some to just modify for baby's food, but basically it's the same food. Same food that you're eating. Okay, so as I mentioned, you don't cook the peppers for long because you want to maintain the, the integrity of the food, a bit of the vitamin C to enable the baby absorb iron better. And so we are going to now mash this food together so that your baby can be able to eat. So our food is ready, and so we are going now to modify it for the baby. And this is food that can be eaten by a baby even from 6 months. We just need to modify it. So I'm going to take a flat plate and just going to serve that out. So 6 months, your baby generally eats 2 to 3 tablespoons. The amount continues to grow to around half a cup at 8 months. By around 9 months, they start eating 3/4 of a cup. And by the end of 1 year, they're eating equivalent to 1 cup. But feed your baby according to their appetite. Do not force feed your baby. So your baby is able to let you know when they're done. Giving small amounts of food and letting the baby guide you in terms of how much that they want to eat is what we recommend. So you're responding to the baby's needs. We call it responsive feeding. Not what you think the baby should eat, but especially in terms of quantity, let the baby guide you. And voila! So we are going to use a fork. A fork is really nice. It's able to help you mash up the dal. Remember, dal is able to be mashed pretty well. You can use lentils, you can use butter beans, you can use beans, you can use what we call dengu or green grams. So whichever, legumes that you eat in your family, introduce them to your baby. They are nutritious, they are full of energy. Remember, legumes also carry a lot of energy. And your baby needs to eat foods rich in energy, high in energy. Babies and footballers eat the same. They need the same amount of energy, high energy foods. So make sure that the rice part of it, the energy part of the food, is what is quite heavy. So I'm mashing it. So depending on your baby, you can mash it finer. If your baby is still 6 months, if your baby is 9 months, you don't have to mash it as fine. So just take your baby slow and let them eat as I like. So you can see the food is flavorful, it's colorful, it is nice. So from 6 to 10 months, this is a nice meal. The consistency is good. And now as the baby grows, for me, I encourage every mom, by 9 months, your baby should be eating the same food as you. And even from 6 months, if it's something that you're eating, just modify it for your baby. So it's nice and mashed. And I'm gonna serve my baby. I tend to use a flat plate because it's easier to mash it evenly when it's a flat plate. So that goes very well. So this is for around an 8-month-old can maybe eat this quantity, not too much. Remember, we don't want to overfeed our babies, because if we do, then they don't take enough milk. So we want to feed them just enough to meet their requirements, but not overfeeding them so much, because milk remains the main food. That's why it's called complementary feeding. Aha, and so here we go. Our baby's food is nice. You can see it's dropping from the plate. The consistency is good. I can taste it. As always, taste your baby's food. Oh, I can feel the lumps, and your baby will feel them, and they will want to chew, because when they feel lumps, they tend to want to chew. A lot of us are afraid, but remember, as long as you've made the lumps really small so that they can't block the airway, that's how your baby learns to eat. With rice, we find that some babies will gag, so you'll find them doing don't be afraid of that. Gagging is part of learning how to eat. So give a small amount, they'll gag and they'll do like that, and then they'll remove it, and then they'll be like, oh, I need to chew this food. And usually by the second, third spoon, they figured out how to move the food in their mouth. This is something that babies learn, and then they don't gag. So gagging is part and parcel of learning how to handle lumps. So just make sure that the lumps are really small and teach your baby how to chew. Chewing is important because it helps your baby's jaw to strengthen up. So it is the building blocks of speech. For your baby to speak clearly and well, their jaw needs to be strong. But also, it is how protects your baby against choking, because if a baby knows how to chew, they will tend to chew food fast instead of swallowing it immediately. You know, a baby who's given pureed food tends to just want to swallow and they can choke. But a baby who knows how to chew will tend to chew in their mouth, and then they're like, okay, I can't swallow that. They'll spit it out, because their brain has already figured out what I can chew and swallow and what I can't. So let's equip our babies. Feeding your baby is not just about the food, it's about the culture of food, how to eat, how to chew, how to swallow. All these things the baby is learning as you introduce the food. So let your baby enjoy the rice and dal stew, and it's completely balanced. I am here for you. So if you've got any question, any query, any challenge, anything that you're going through and you just need another voice to take you through it, get in touch with me. You can DM me, you can write me a text, you can, WhatsApp me. But you know what? Better yet, take a video, a short video, WhatsApp it to me, and the next show might just be about you.